Hello guys, my name is Troy. Welcome back to the KotLC Fanbase. Strap in, grab a snack, drink some water, stay hydrated y'all. Today we're going to do a cozy yap session about Unraveled. I'm not going to edit this video too much, so don't expect anything fancy because today I'm just going to dive into my review of Unraveled. And because this book has just came out, I'm not going to talk about any spoilers today. We are going to keep this completely spoiler free and just vague as possible so that you don't catch any references. I'm literally not going to say a peep about this book that you won't discover for yourself. We're also going to keep the comments completely spoiler free unless you put a big spoiler warning in your comment. I don't want to see any spoilers in the comments because we're going to have to delete them because we want to keep this space a spoiler-free community for now. Yo, Editor Troy here in the studio. I just wanted to let you know that we're going live this Saturday from 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time to discuss Unraveled as well as just check in because we haven't done a live stream in a while. Without further ado, let's jump into this Unraveled review. Please leave a like on this video, subscribe to our channel down below, and please let me know how you thought of Unraveled. Again, please be mindful of spoilers, but please let us know your thoughts of Unraveled in the comments down below. I cannot wait to read through your reviews in the comments. But like I said, let's just jump into this review of Unraveled. Unraveled takes place right after book 8.5 Unlocked, so it's happening simultaneously with Stellarlune, but you should still read it after Stellarlune because Shannon published this after Stellarlune. And this covers Keefe's journey in the Forbidden Cities, the human land as he likes to call it. And what I really like about this book is inside, when you open it up, you actually get a map, Keefe's kind of annotated map of human land that he obtains in the book. The past and present unravel into staggering truths in this can't-miss installment of the New York Times and USA Today best-selling Keeper Lost City series, told entirely from Keefe's point of view. Please be careful, please be happy, and please forget all about me. It'll be better for everyone that way. Those were the last words Keefe Sensen wrote to Sophie Foster before he ran away to the Forbidden Cities. He didn't want to leave, but it was the only way to keep his friends safe while he figured out how to control his scary new powers and searched for answers about his past. What he found was so much more than adventures in human land. Where did he go? What did he do? And who did he meet while the rest of his friends worked to solve the mystery of Stellarlune? The answers go far beyond anything anyone could have ever imagined and give Keefe the power to change his destiny. In this review, I seek to answer the question, was this book necessary? Does this book give Keefe the power to change his destiny? I have a lot of feelings about this being from Keefe's perspective. I'm going to talk a little bit about plot and characters as well as the bonus chapter at the end. But let's start with Keefe's perspective. What did I think about reading a whole book from Keefe's perspective? Well, I thought it was great. I understand why Sophie is the main character of the book series. I mean, she's the mysterious girl who comes from the human land to the lost cities. But don't get me wrong, Keefe has become one of the most major players in this series, if not the biggest player in the series, because we know a lot about Sophie's legacy, right? But we don't know a lot about Keefe's legacy. I mean, gosh, in frickin' Legacy, we learned that Sophie is trying to solve the concepts with the elves and the humans and try to build a better world, but we don't know what Keefe's purpose is. We don't know a lot about Lady Gisela because Lady Gisela is on the Neverseen side and we're trying to figure out what the Neverseen's objective is. So Keefe really is sort of the player that we need kind of a perspective from right now because we don't know his destiny and he's trying to figure it out for himself and he's trying to search for answers in this book. And I'm not going to say anything about what he finds because, again, I want to keep this a spoiler-free video. I thought Keefe brought a lot of humor and witty energy into this book, and it was almost unlike him. Keefe, at the start of the series, he's a very witty guy. He's very funny. He makes a lot of quick, snippy comments, and it's great. But it doesn't necessarily match up with what his character is supposed to be right now. He's supposed to be very depressed. He's supposed to be very lost. He's supposed to have these new abilities. He's supposed to be confused. Keefe has gone through an immense amount of trauma, and his humor in this book is almost unlike what someone that has gone through the level of trauma that he's gone through has gone through. What I'm trying to get at is that Keefe, before he leaves, for Unraveled, and after he gets back to the Lost Cities and Stellarloon, he's very sullen, he's very withdrawn, he's very isolated, and it just doesn't make sense for Keefe to be so happy-go-lucky in this book. It doesn't make much sense. I love reading Keefe being happy and go-lucky and humorous, but it doesn't make much sense for this book to be very humorous and snippy and lighthearted, because Keefe is learning details that are very traumatic to him. It feels like Keefe has healed from all of his trauma without doing any of the healing, with doing any of the processing, if that makes any sense. Because for someone to go through what he's gone through and then be humorous, be witty, and be funny, it doesn't make much sense. While I did enjoy the writing and I did enjoy the humorous style of Keefe's character, I don't think it makes much sense in the world of Keefe right now, especially because he goes back to the Lost Cities and becomes isolated and doesn't talk a lot. And so I'm at this point where I'm a little bit confused about Keefe's character. Shannon's confusing me about where Keefe's character is supposed to be going with all that he's been through. Is he supposed to be depressed and kind of withdrawn, or is he supposed to be still this happy and humorous guy? I don't know. I will say it is incredibly delightful to read Keefe's character because he is more aware of the love triangle or the love square that is between Sophie, Keefe, Fitz, and Dex, although that train fell off a long time ago. Him being confident in his feelings is vastly different from Sophie, who is oblivious to boys liking her. Like, Keefe is very confident in the fact that he likes Sophie and will talk about it a lot. And you will see a lot of So Keefe content in this book. So if you're a So Keefe fan, you're going to love this book. Whereas you can't really enjoy that with Sophie because Sophie is so oblivious that she doesn't have any love for Keefe yet. Although she has that love for Keefe, it's just like hidden within her. Now enough with Keefe. Let's talk about Human Land. Again, I love this map that's on the inside of the book because it shows where Keefe traveled to, and it kind of gives a little annotations about his times and travels through Human Land. But essentially, this was one of the coolest aspects of the book, was Human Land, getting to see Keefe interact with spaces that we interact with every day, and for Keefe to be like, this is the most fascinating thing, although everything that we do is ordinary and mundane, like having a cell phone, having a license or an ID. Everything like that that's so ordinary and mundane to us is fascinating to Keefe. The food that we eat, the cars that we travel in, the cities that we've built are all incredibly cool and fascinating to Keefe. It's interesting getting that outsider perspective on our own world. I think that's so cool. It allows KotLC to take on the role of an urban fantasy for a little bit, which if you don't know what an urban fantasy is, it is basically fantastical elements in our world that we exist in. And so Keefe having these abilities and having this sort of magic system, the elven magic system, exist within the human world is an urban fantasy, and that's not something that we get too much within the KotLC series, so it was fascinating to see within this book. I'll just say it, there's a lot of cute references, there's a lot of funny content, there's a lot of cool mentions in this book related to our world that you're going to enjoy. Let's move on to plot. Plot was a huge issue in this book for me. I do love this book, but the plot was non-existent. Usually we have a plot that's in the shape of sort of a pyramid. I studied this in college. Freytag's pyramid. It has exposition, an inciting incident where sort of the problem of the book occurs. We have some rising action, we have a climax, that big battle, some falling action, and a resolution. But this book has none of it. There isn't an inciting incident. There's no problem that Keefe's really trying to fight or solve. This book is not plot driven, and it's not character driven either, so there's just a lack of substance in general. Unfortunately, because I love Jenna Messenger, I love her writing, but without a good plot, without a good climax, I'm kind of left sort of starving for more. It's not hitting the elements of a fantasy book that has that sort of pyramid shape. It's just missing that plot that's like really itches your brain. This plot is just all over the place, and it goes from here to there to there to there to there to there to there. I don't know what to think of it, to be honest. Let's talk a little bit about plot twists. I think some plot twists of this book were genius. They're expert level, and they will have you being like, whoa. Like, some of them you can't even guess. But I will say, on the other hand, some of them you can absolutely guess. I guessed 2 of about 4 major plot twists of this book, which is about half of them. So some of them were pretty easy to guess, but some of them were like, wow. Like, at one point we learn who this figure is, right? This figure, this shadowy figure in the cover of the book. And I was making all these kinds of guesses about who this figure might be, and I was on the floor, I was jaw-dropped when we learned who this figure was. So I will say, just wait until page about 200 and you get to learn who that character is, and it'll be very shocking. But some of the other plot twists, not as shocking because I guessed them, but maybe you won't guess them, I don't know. Maybe I'm smart, maybe I just kind of know what Shannon does in her reveals. But no, as far as plot twists went by, there were quite a few of them, and they were intermixed throughout the book, and I thought it was great. I thought they were good. A+. Now, I want to make a longer video about this topic, but it is time to talk about something that is potentially pretty conflicting in terms of beliefs in the world, which honestly it shouldn't be that way. Unfortunately, we live in a world where hate exists, and we make fun of people, we judge people, we perceive people. But this book marks a new beginning because Shannon starts introducing the LGBTQ plus community into her books, and that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to tell you what characters or how it comes across. I'm just going to say that Shannon introduces that topic into her books. I just want to say that's an amazing thing to do, right? And it's a very brave thing to do because Shannon knew she would get harsh feedback for that, and she has. She's gotten a lot of 1-star reviews on Amazon and on Goodreads for including homosexual characters. And so what I'll say is, if you want to support Shannon, rate her book on Goodreads and on Amazon as a 5 stars to combat those people that are feeling hatred towards the fandom and towards these books for including something that is really, again, not that serious. I'll say this once, being gay is okay, right? And if you're offended by someone being gay, that says a lot about you, and that says a lot of negative things about you. Does it really offend you that much? What does it say about you? And what does it say about how much privilege you have as someone who's not in the gay community to go and hate on people for something that they can't control? It's very sad that there's people out there that would do something like that. So that's why I'm glad that Shannon made the brave choice to introduce something like this into the world of Keeper of the Lost Cities. It actually made me quite emotional because as a queer person myself, it is so amazing to see yourself in a book series. That's why representation is so important. My sexuality is quite frankly none of your business, but because this book has been under attack, I do want to speak on it. Seeing myself in these books makes me so emotional, makes me feel pure joy. It was even better than seeing some of the Keefe stuff, to be quite honest. That was the most powerful thing of this book, was seeing that. And seeing how powerful that made me as a queer person, I can only imagine how many other queer kids growing up seeing this in the books and being happy and seeing themselves in these books. Like, that just means the world to me. It is so important, and for Shannon, I just want to explicitly thank you for that. And Shannon said in an interview that representation matters, and I stand with her in that. And if you are truly upset by this book, you can unsubscribe from our channel. It is a-okay. Quite frankly, if you don't respect people, we don't want you here on this channel anyways. That's all I wanted to say about this topic, and I will make a full, more dedicated video because I think it is important to talk about. But now I can officially say that Keeper of the Lost Cities is in support of the LGBTQ community, and Shannon Messenger is in support of the LGBTQ community, and that is so special, and I hope that it resonated with a lot of people. Overall, did this book contribute a lot to the Keeper of the Lost City series? No, it did not. I don't think anything that we learned was important. I think there was some important information, but it really could have just been told by Keefe to Sophie or the team. I don't think that we needed the whole book unraveling this information, although it was fun. It felt like a fan fiction maybe, like an extra sort of edition, but I don't think you need to read this book in order to understand book 10. I don't foresee this information being super important. I think Shannon is doing a good job of not opening too many more plots or opening more holes that she wants to dig into. She's really like filling in the holes, and she's closing chapters. She's not opening new ones. So the series truly is coming to an end, but it's coming to an end very slowly because we're taking so much time to make books like this that are not giving us too much information. Now, I did want to briefly talk about the bonus chapter at the end. This was one of the better parts of the book. It's titled My Everything, the chapter. It's just awesome to see Keef get what he so truly deserves, which is a kiss from Sophie. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. Joey has been waiting for this moment for a long time. Austin has been waiting for this a long time. You, on the other side of the screen, have probably been waiting for this a long time. And so to see this kiss happen and to see it from Keith's perspective, I think it was a absolutely amazing idea from Shannon Messenger to include it, and I'm so glad to have read it. Keefe has been pining for this moment for the whole series. We have been pining for this moment the whole series. So again, it is absolutely spectacular to read this perspective of Sophie and Keefe's first kiss. It was beautiful. Alright, I feel like I thoroughly yapped enough. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you did enjoy this video. If you've read Unraveled, I want to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Tell me what you're thinking about this book. Do you think it was important to the series? What were some of your reactions to the plot twists? And if you are going to give spoilers, please be sure to give a spoiler marking and then go a few spaces down before you start typing so they have to click read more. But that's going to wrap it up for me. Make sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe down below for more videos like this, and we'll catch you very soon for a new video. Bye!